when people are saying that you are living through your ego or you're all ego, that they are mistaken that for you having self-respect, respect for yourself, and not being willing to abandon yourself anymore for this relationship, especially if it's a toxic one. In yesterday's video, I talked a lot about being aware being aware of your consciousness, returning back to the seat of consciousness, our natural state, just loving life for what it is and observing it, not allowing our mind to play tricks on us or create a reality that we get stuck in the mold of, in the loop. And part of that is being willing to set inner boundaries and also outer boundaries. So when I talk about your strength and your power, I'm talking about your energy and what you choose to put your energy on, your focus when you're focusing on things. When you come to the realization that certain people are toxic for you, that is keeping you stuck in that loop of chasing after something. Yesterday, I talked about validation. Today, I'm talking about self-respect. The outer boundary there is that you're done being made felt a certain way, knowing that when you're observing it, a lot of it has to do with you, but it also has to do with what you allow. And if you continue to be someone who allows toxic people to come in and welcome them, that people who have those tendencies are going to continue coming back into your life to play out those dynamics because you have not yet healed that side of yourself. And every relationship could be used as a lesson. When videos are made by people like me on YouTube that trigger you, or relationships with new people that come in that trigger certain things in you, all that means is that those aspects of your psyche, of your mind, of your belief systems that are getting triggered by these events are things that you need more information on, you need to do more work on. And more work is you going into your mind, looking at the psychology of it, studying Freud, Alfred Adler. There's many different people out there, philosophers from the past, that have some great information and insights on the shadow version of ourselves. And also, the inner child is one to be aware of as well, that a lot of that stuff that is trauma that is unhealed continues to attract certain events to us in our modern day, in our current life, to play out those dynamics of the reality that we believe to be true. So part of this and creating an inner boundary now is, let's say there's someone you're communicating with on social media that's bad for you, that's playing a game. There could be you need to remove yourself from that relationship by telling them kindly, this doesn't work for me, and removing them from your social media, from all contact. And this is not, we're applying the no contact rule to attract someone to you. This is an inner boundary. If this is someone that's bad for you, you're gonna wanna walk away completely, not just for a short amount of time. And there are also some cases where you're just going to apply detachment to them, the social media app you're using, things that are consuming a lot of your energy. Because a lot of the time, we feel like we need to do this and that and the other thing while working a full-time job and taking care of our families. And we don't take the time to notice that we need to start taking care of ourselves. And that's not being selfish. That's not being egotistical. That is self respect. That is you starting to know what is good for you and what is not good for you. And taking the time out of your day to do the work, whether it's just disconnecting completely, reading a book you're really into, being able to embody that flow state, something you can use your creative energy on. Use me for an example. If I'm playing drums in the corner over there for a YouTube video, or I'm making a video like this, or I'm reading a book I'm really into, my mind is not playing games with me. I am not thinking. I am just being. That is me aware of my state. Right now, as I analyze my state of consciousness as I'm making a video here, which is a little tough, but when I'm playing that drum set and I'm playing a song, I'm not thinking about all my problems or what I need to do, or I didn't message that person yesterday, or that this person ghosted me last month, or that when I was in kindergarten, that girl made me feel this way. I'm not thinking about that. Imagine an athlete or something that you like to do, whether you're athletic or not. What do you like to do where you're having fun with the process? It's why I use me for an example. When I make these videos for YouTube or I'm making social media shorts, I'm in my element. I'm in a frame of mind where I feel love because of the contributions I am making. And I'm not stuck in that old shadow version of myself that feels all of the lack, that feels all of the shame, all of the guilt. The boy I had to be for my parents. I had to be the perfect boy, the only boy at home, right? And I always felt like my father had big expectations of me and I could never meet them. Those are just examples I am giving you. Being able to have inner boundaries is that those stories don't need to create your current reality. And you don't need to change the past either. You can change the way you look at the past. You can change the way you talk to yourself. And you can change the relationships that you choose to allow into your life. And the way that you interact with people out in public. If you feel like certain people, if people are being extremely negative in an environment and all they do is talk negative about that environment, you're going to take on the conversation with that person. And to ease their tension, you're going to be agreeable with everything they're saying, even though you don't believe it. Rather than say, no, like, I don't hate that person. I don't think this person thinks they're the shit because they're hot. I'm using that for an example because I communicate with a lot of people in a fitness center. It could be anywhere. It could be your workplace. It could be your high school, your college, university, the bars you frequent on the weekends. It's when you go into those places as the real you that doesn't need a single thing from other people, but loves where you are right now, loves them. And it's not, I'm forgetting about all my problems. I'm just being someone who preaches love. I actually naturally just feel this way because I have given my inner child the attention it requires in the form of him wanting validation, him feeling like he was a fat child or out of shape, let's say. and wanting pretty girls to give him attention. Well, I give him that attention. And honestly, that young version of myself was good enough for pretty girls. It was just a story. And I was attracting certain girls in my class or in my environment at that time to play on those dynamics of me feeling not good enough or not worthy enough. Instead of focusing on the girls that I did have good relationships with, I had to create this persona where I was this cool kid. I'm the guy who loves the heavy metal, you know? That's living through the ego. If I could have been free, I could have been someone who likes what I like and also could have taken pleasure in certain people that treated me the way they want to treat me, poorly. They want to treat me poorly or in a good way, and focus on the people who were giving me good, respectable treatment. And if I was setting boundaries with people, could you imagine if we knew back then the stuff we know now about relationships, the human psyche, consciousness, meditation, allowing the divine to live in us? We are all beings on earth here, and it's all in how you choose to interact with others and interact with yourself when you're alone. And if it's going to be someone who listens to their mind talk garbage about everything that's toxic in your life, that's what's going to continue to get attracted back to you. But when you start to create a lot of those outer boundaries, you take your power back and do the work on yourself. And if you're done being treated poorly by people, you could find something to work on yourself that's going to empower you. Like a lot of the topics I talk about on here in social media is empowerment. And it's not that when you listen to my messages and apply them to your life that you're going to become better. I'm not trying to trigger the superiority effect in you. I want you to realize you're equal. And when you learn the principles I apply, the techniques I teach you, the messages I allow to flow in from God, and I distribute them to help you with life, it's that you're going to be equal to others, just as powerful. It's not about feeling powerful to be better, to be superior. That is the ego that wants that. If ever you felt like you weren't as good as certain men or women around you. And if you use a lot of social media, all you're seeing is people who are in fitness, people who are good speakers, depending on the types of things you follow on there. And it's all about fixing what's coming up on your feed. If a lot of that is triggering negative in you, you could start by deleting some of the things that trigger negative thoughts and just following people who are bringing value to you and making you feel like you could be the best version of yourself as well and not having to compete with them. So try this week. Sit still for some time and meditate before bed at night. Pick up a book by one of your favorite authors. It doesn't need to be a self-help book, spiritual book, anything. Just something you can focus your mind on and start to detach from some of these people that are draining your energy. Whether it's close people or someone you're trying to create a relationship, a dating, a partner that you could be looking for that you feel like is your special person, but is not giving you that attention. You don't have to keep doing this to yourself. This person should not have that effect over you. You should realize that they are triggering something negative in you and you need work on that aspect of your life. And when you start to give yourself the tools that you learn from people like me or others or from reading, you can start to live life in freedom and peace and love. And when you're feeling like that, the way I speak, the way I am, the way I am being, my elevated state I share with you guys daily, you are allowing God's source energy to live within you and all around you. And everything that's meant to be in your life will find its place in it without you needing to force it in or need to manipulate or manifest it to make you feel good about your life. When you feel good with gratitude, you attract great things just by being yourself. You're going to attract everything that is great for you without wanting or focusing on the desire part of it. Because desire is what keeps us feeling in attachment. And attachment keeps us living asleep and unconscious and continuing to be triggered by those events from the past. So try waking up to that. Try quieting the mind from time to time or being aware of that mind that's talking to you throughout the whole day. And have a better relationship with it. Don't allow it to speak negatively of yourself or of others. And when you begin practicing that, noticing it when it's talking to you, noticing it when it's making you feel in negative states, you can then begin to change the synaptic connections with your brain and live more in coherence between your brain and heart and feel love for yourself. So stay grounded within your own energy and continue pushing forward.